Welcome back, everybody. We're here after all of the Miramar games, TPP and FPP, and this is the current point standing. Afrika Freaks Air is getting second in the first one, first in the second one. Kind of weird to say that one, but they are on top. Also, OPGG Hunters having a fantastic performance, getting chicken in the first series and doing pretty well in the second one as well.
Third one at the FPP game as well, so knowing that these two teams now in the standings to get that contention if they have a consistent rounds in rounds 3 and 4 in Erangel, could mean that one of these two teams could have the equal of chances of getting that first day win out of this Group A and Group B standings here. But two strong teams that we expected to do well are now here to play and trying to just go over all the rest of the competition here.
Taking a look at some of the more bottom teams, you'll notice that Cloud9 got 20th, and that was after they got 18th in the first round. So a pretty disappointing day for the Cloud9 fans. I mentioned it at the beginning of the day. We actually have a corner of our studio that is populated by mostly Cloud9 fans. They're holding up signs for Dingception and all the other players over there. So a pretty disappointing series so far for them.
Disappointing, but additionally confusing as well, because round 1, they know why they lost, because they greeted over that central circle and tried to go in when they necessarily didn't have to and didn't have much information to track themselves. Are they heading towards that right path? They figured out in the wrongest of ways by going down in that 18th place finish. But second round was the more confusing one because they didn't know. After they fixed their mistakes from round 1, tried to manipulate in a way that it fixed all their problems, they still went out in the bottom 3 positions. So what does that tell you about Cloud9 in their ability to keep with the strategy and be flexible at the same time, but still are not getting the results?
So we're going to take a look at some of the kill leaders here. You'll notice that Daewee and Rose are two guys from Afrika Freaks areas up towards the top there, and also Cold, the man we had an interview with earlier on, just after the second round there, with 8 kills as well in second place so far. So those guys putting in the work for their teams.
I mean, seemingly noticeable that you have the top 2 teams who have been placing top 3 every single game from here on, and knowing that they're going to be the ones who are collecting the top kills, but the players that are most fitting for that list is going to be Daewee, the new addition to Afrika Freaks Ares, who has done so well from his previous time to make sure that he is a good fit for any team who wanted to bring him in. That was Afrika Freaks Ares, in addition to Nungyo and Rosar. Felt like Gukhyun and also this Daewee player was a good addition to come in, and now he's paying them off in the rightest of ways to making sure that the kills are coming through.
Yeah, so guys, we are ready to jump into Erangel finally. Let's see who can pick up the chicken this time around. Here we go, TPP on Erangel. You guys can see the current standings. Cloud9, unfortunately, all the way down at 20th this time around. It's going to have to get some really good results if they want to get a better day 1.
Today's not the end of it though. Cloud9, they still have many days to bring up their ranking, but why not start in round 3? That's a good starting point for Cloud9 to pick it right back up. A team with high hopes and high expectations. Still a lot of following right behind them, and this means that Cloud9 gonna be getting Stallber and Kameshki as usual. How will they approach this game? Will they approach the same way at round 1 and round 2? Felt like that was just a fluke and that didn't work out, or are they going to just approach it entirely differently? It's going to be the question we're going to ask here.
Yeah, just going to be spreading out. Curious to see who will be aggressive enough to stay until the end and go all the way to military base. Looks like Astric will be the team to do just that.
Astric usually likes to go Novo, so we're not going to see probably them in the playing path.
It's free loot, though. Nobody else went there for now, so they could split up if they wanted to. Seems like they're thinking about it.
One of the players now retracting back. Oa, you see them. You do get the plane indicator, obviously, just like the rest of the live players here, meaning that they only saw themselves in the plane. Just 4 ticks on that left remaining on that plane means that no one's going to land that Sosnovka base, and felt like the rest of Astric here going to go over to Novo.
That's so fantastic for them. Like they haven't had the best results so far, but look at the circle. It's at the island too. All the way on the left side, very far away from lots of the teams on the map. So Asterisk going to be pretty happy about this start, having the whole island to themselves so far.
You know, someone that doesn't make me happy is me. Looking at the circle here, this is a distressful circle here.
Yeah.
Look at what this means, though, is that we're hoping that it doesn't end in a water circle, but PWM had that history of ending in a water circle, actually, so that has happened before, so it's not completely impossible, but hope the circle centralization helps us out in this case.
Desna trying to snipe his sister team out of the sky. Looks like a member from Ares is actually floating on down towards, looks like Milta, actually. Yeah,
Africa Freaks Fatal right now at Milta. It seems like Ares is trying to go to Milta Tower and just around the surrounding area, but they know that they're not going to have too much time to loot in their respective areas before they have to get a move on. And you know, a team that really has to get a move on is going to be Cloud9. Team currently at 20th place. They're going to be stuck down at Stalber and Kameshki. Complete opposite of where the first circle had opened up.
This is just not their day, right? You know, just not the greatest luck with circles in round number 2. And then again here, they go up to Stalber, and it just goes the exact opposite corner of the map. It's really unfortunate.
You know, Valdez, I like to agree with you. Could have been better.
Yeah.
Here we see Africa Freaks Ares landing right outside Milta Power. Just going to loot the little houses surrounding the big buildings that they will not intrude themselves into right away. So that means them and Africa Freaks Fatal, who are now at mainland Milta, could be at a dangerous situation if they do collide with each other. Depends on who makes the first exit of their current farming location to go to Milta base.
Yeah. Rosar here just saying that he'll do his best to win the next round. This is, of course, TPP on Erangel, so excited to see how it will change and look differently in terms of, you know, different map and also different perspective from the last round we just played.
MVP is a happy team at Erangel whenever they do get Yasnaya without the interruption of perhaps Korea's best team right now with OG and Entus Ace, and they're the kings of Yasnaya, and when they're not in the same match as you are, MVP are gonna be smiles on their faces and just farming out the mainland of Yasnaya, feeling very good, but like I said, the circle is quite far away, so just gonna move on with probably the plentiful vehicles that are gonna be abundant here in the city area.
You notice that a finalist of 2 leagues there, Season 1 of APL and PWM Pilot, Rocket Armor taking a swim. Looks like maybe they're heading over towards military base here, just going over the left bridge side.
Seems like they started on the left bridge of Sosnovka Island, really close to Ferry Pier, and feel like they want to make a crossing to go to Sosnovka Island. So we look at this first circle here, it's not really entirely all about Sosnovka Island. It's only consisting about 30%, while the other 40% or so is going to be still at mainland Erangel. Looking at the south side part of the map, and most of it is water at the moment. We don't know where the second circle is going to open up. That will tell us a big story of what we can expect for the rest of the game.
Looks like suppressed Uzi was the case for that player there. Africa Freaks Fatal, finalist in all the leagues. So having some quite good results, not, you know, top level, but quite good either way. And so far just taking control over all of Milta right now. You know, definitely could have been worse places and worse circles for them. Not too many people in the center of the map right now, so they can get a couple of vehicles that you'll usually see over towards Milta and start driving over toward the west side when they're ready.
Okay, we hit the 5-minute mark, means that farming phase initially is done for a lot of these teams, and they're going to get the move on. But when all the teams get the move on at the same time, we might get some collisions.
Detonator, you got a couple of people heading over towards Milta here. Got to be careful, as there's only these couple of houses to loot, and definitely Africa Freaks Fatal just heard you coming in. So we'll see how these two teams butt heads.
You know, very little land composition on this first circle. I just don't think that, you know, rushing into this first circle might not be the best idea to go with. You got to talk about how many teams will be thinking the same thing you are in terms of movement, and if many people do exactly the same thing you are doing, and you're going to find a situation like that where you're going to be knocked away from your vehicles.
I mean, just able to get him as they're running by. Boise able to pick up the kill in the end, getting some points for his team already.
And just going back to my point, you would have to just imagine if you just stayed out the circle, none of this would have happened. You're trying to just rush into the circle when so many people are thinking the same thing. You're gonna find collisions, you're gonna find interruptions, and you might just find some casualties along the way as well, as we're looking at Clux here.
Oh boy, nice little peek there from Mango, able to take out Succinct already.
Junsu though.
Yeah, trying to come from behind. We'll see if he can get, but he's actually gonna get really low. He does have an Uzi here, which certainly can help him out, but he's so low that he will just be taken out in the end. 2 members going to go down from Clux, another one also somewhere else going down, only 1 member left over.
Leclerc from Clux, the last member standing, is gonna be right there, right below Pochinki, as you can see on the map here. Meaning that he's just gonna be running away from this entire situation. Now, going back to my point was, what if Clux did not make the entrance so early and they decide to just farm out just a little more? The circle hasn't even closing yet, but it's been more about teams trying to rush over to the circle when there's not much land in that composition in the first circle. So there's not going to be a lot of time and a lot of area mass that you can just locate yourself into. And that will mean that there's got to be a lot more interruptions, a lot more collisions in terms of the early game compared to the other games so far.
Yeah, trying to take a look at what loot this Asterisk team picked up. I mentioned it before, the military island was mostly theirs, especially 3 members taking all of the loot at Novo. Certainly means that they're going to be in a pretty good spot. Just saw an M4 and an AK on the member we were just looking at. Looks like MK Ocean as well as MK Cold Rain. A couple of members from one of the Chinese teams are able to come on down here to the west side of the island on the boats. But look at $4 OK plus a member on his team. Might be shot down here by MK. Should see them coming in.
MK gets that first position established right on the edge of the Sosnovka Island, right below Ferry Pier on the other side. But they're going to see that coming.
Oh boy.
Shooting that down with a VSS there, but Stone is going to be a little bit passive along with his teammate and just allowing OPG Rangers to make that entrance in.
Yeah, an interesting decision. Suppose they didn't want to give their position away in the middle of the circle, but there is 1 member that's actually taking a shot as they're trying to run up the hill on the right side there, as Cold Rain was left alone here to just shell those OPGG members as they were going up the right side.
So it seems like not everyone has given up on going for OPGG Ranger, but Cold Rain going all by himself could mean that we might get the first knock from OPGG Ranger. So close with that.
Oh, there it is.
The red dot, and that will come through here.
Yeah, you'll notice the rest of the MK members just leaving him alone to shell them down, and OPGG Rangers was just like, oh, it's only 1 guy, and he's all alone with no cover. Let's just turn around and shoot him instead, and it was a good idea from OPGG Rangers to turn it back on him.
And I feel like it was a good idea from Cold Rain, but he needed some reinforcement. He needed some backup of trying to shoot at the same target from multiple allies on your team, but you're shooting all by yourself, and you're going to be on a solo effort there. Makes it a lot tougher to survive on that own.
Now over here on the left side of the island, I believe. Not 100% sure where those guys
Yeah, it's going to be right above
like,
Pochinki. A little bit below Road Shock, where
okay.
usually OPGG Hunters like to make their starting location, but they're going to be surrounded here by AST. As you can see, the circle is closing upon them, so the first circle is not going to hurt quite that much, but this fight has to be settled by one of these 2 teams in order for the other to make their rotation back here.
Calvin Klein getting some really nice shots on the Cold there. Unfortunately, no scope, no sight on his M4, trying to do his best, but could not take him out in the end.
Looking at it here, the more important aspect of this fight here is that OPGG Hunters holding a good standing after 2 rounds.
Ooh.
Oh, the next circle. Oh.
Well, certainly
it's not the worst.
We shouldn't get an ending in the water at least. Ocean, unfortunately, this whole entire MK team is just being owned right now by OPGG Rangers.
Absolutely falling apart strategically. They don't know how to split up their members efficiently, and they saw OPGG Rangers come in after initially establishing themselves in the position right at Sosnovka Island. So they could have easily sniped out the incoming members from the boat. They just went passive early. and they tried to get one member to scout out the other two members of OPG Ranger. Obviously, that did not work out, losing a one member there, and they just get caught on the open, and that's going to cause to a lot of casualties they didn't have to face if strategies were right for them.
Yeah. Some mistakes coming from one of our Chinese teams, but they still have two members left over. Kongdu Gilisuit, they just went over the bridge, all four members. Looks like they'll look to take some of the houses on the west side of the military island.
Yeah, they're trying to establish a position on these compound, but trying to get greedy here, trying to go for a little bit more, but they're going to be surrounded by Rocket Armor and African Fix Fatal, who are just waiting to shoot them down.
Yeah, they're driving straight into Fatal here. Splitting up quite well and actually doing a bit of scouting. Nice swerving now, trying to get away from the members of Africa Freeze Fatal as they spot them, and they're able to drive away.
That is good intel for Kongdu Gilisuit, who just kind of separated all their members into multiple vehicles, kind of confusing Africa Fix Fatal to which direction do I shoot at? And that was the question that really wasn't answered quite efficiently by Africa Fix Fatal, and now gives away their position. Kongdu Gilisuit now has a better establishment of a position. They can feel safe going to the next one.
Oh boy. Asterisk camping the bridge here in the blue, just waiting for detonator. And Allen taking a bunch of damage, but now they know they cannot get over that right side bridge. They will have to find another way through.
This is absolute frustration for detonators right now because Asterisk were not supposed to be there with the circle already closing in on them. This really means that Asterisk just gotta play the annoyance towards detonators, who now just have to find a detour. But it's just so far away to just go to the other bridge to get to their position. But Cloud9 coming in from the Stalwart area, found themselves in a boat, still way outside the circle, as you can see, right below Military Power is where they are.
Yeah, I mean, you have a really unlucky circle. You're waiting now. You're trying to get into this smaller second white circle, but already a lot of the strong positions in that circle have been taken. It's going to be hard for them to find a foothold on that island. We'll have to see which angle they decide to take.
You see MVP also outside the circle as well, just trying to stay alive. A little frustrated, as you can see, with the pan swing from Easy PC Man. Just means that they have to find a way in as well, but finding it difficult when there's so many teams that are just trying to join in to that right bridge from Sosnapka Island. But it has been gate kept by Asterisk, as you can see on the screen here. Detonator, we're trying to be that first dogs to get in through that bridge, but since they can't get in, the teams behind it with Quadro, MVP, and Africa Fix Ares now having a difficult time to finding their way into the next circle.
Yeah, certainly a lot of teams that are being kept out of this right now, but look at Actostars Red actually able to make their way over the bridge here. All four members going to have their own individual vehicles, and finally Allen trying to burst his way through on the motorcycle, might be able to do it. He does get over the ridge as VZ not able to finish him off.
Wow, so that was a death ride right there. That could have went very bad for Allen.
He's still on the run, and he cannot get away. 4
members of Asterisk on the gatekeeping duties. Might just escape one of the members, but all 4 when they're shooting at the same person, when Allen just trying to be the lucky guy, trying to get through. He's eventually going to find himself dead on that situation.
Yeah, so at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice OPGG Rangers in a boat, Lunatic High Flux in a boat, trying to join the rest of their members, as well as Cloud9 following them up. Detonator just not having a very strong performance so far. They're being gate kept everywhere, as Quadro coming in very late is being a huge distraction for Gaiken right here.
Now, look at this situation right now where everyone is positioned. This is the right side of the bridge, but on the top of the map here, Quadro looking towards Giken here. But the point is that a lot of the teams thought that the right side would not be gate kept. So they were trying to just make the easy entrance going in. Now Africa Fix Ares is just trying to make their way in.
Yeah, and they're just, you're trying to get through Quadro, but there's so many other teams that are still waiting for you on the other side. Quadro, though, as well, having a lot of trouble here. Wookie being taken out, Youngdal being knocked out there by the Blue and Ilgo.
So Quadro was too focused on Africa Freaks areas, while Detonators were still looking towards that direction, hearing all that noise from the 2 teams fighting it out. Gave free shots over to Ilgo to get Youngdal out of the game here.
Yeah, Wookie does go down in the end. Looking like a 2-on-2 over here, but both of these teams are so far outside of the circle right now.
And the next circle is closing, so once that does the final collision, that will be the blue damage, hurting a lot more. And Can they have enough meds to survive this one? They do have 2 first aid kits onto one of the members of Freaking Freaks Ares. Now they're just trying to detour out of here, but where to go? That is the big question. They're just driving further outside the circle. Oh, look at this. Oh no, this is looking very bad.
The cargo's flying, and Gutkan is going to go down in the end. Dewi, the only one left over.
Dewi, this is a bad situation for Freaking Freaks Ares. They're just trying to avoid one team at a time. Asterix still on gatekeeping duty. They're just trying to get kills. They're not worried about winning in the first place here.
VZ was the only one left over there on the bridge. Kind of his job to gatekeep, I suppose.
But VZ goes down.
Yeah, does get taken out there under. Nice job finally breaking the bridge. It's just been a hilarious state of affairs on the eastern bridge towards Military Island, as so many teams have been not able to get onto the island so far.
I mean, the left bridge was absolutely free as it was closer to the circle. Kind of ironic to the fact that you would think that the right side of the bridge would be the one that's kind of free to go by on a stroll, taking that detour. But see, he's going to get a shot here from Captain America. Sato here.
Doesn't look like he has an angle. Also behind the barrels here is Captain America. Haven't had too much of a look at Night Wolves. They've been very passive overall.
They have to. I mean, 3-man squad, you can't really be too aggressive until the very end of the game here.
Ooh, but that circle's really going to help him out.
So does Asterix as well. The original gatekeepers who only lost 1 man of VZ. Going down to Quadros under. Going to find themselves in a 3-man squad in a very good position here.
They're on the hill. They have sights on Sandbox, as all 4 members still out in the blue right now for Sandbox, or rather 2 of them are trying to make their way in. Ectostar's Red Iron Man able to get a kill over here inside the military base.
Foisty's going to go down in that tracks, and Detonator does finally go down at 20th. More about Ectostar's Red, though. They have a really good position. They don't really need to move around. They just need to separate their members in the most efficient way so that everybody will be able to welcome the incoming guests with a flare.
Trying to land some grenades. MK Stone, actually, we mentioned how strategically they looked weak earlier on, but still alive. Our 2 members, Stone and Cold Rain, able to pick up a kill.
Here they are, and trying to just stay along the edge. As we see Ectostar's Red still in that circle, trying to make everything count here. Cloud9 in the mix as well.
Yeah, it's Cloud9 right now versus Lunatic High Flux, actually. Eureka on the Kar98, actually. Looks like he was able to get a decent shot onto Mira, but he has now been rezzed and healed up.
But Lunatic High Flux sandwiched here by OPGG Rangers and Cloud9. Now you see Eureka shooting at him already.
Whenever someone on Cloud9 gets a knock, the entire crowd goes wild. So you can tell who the favorites are right now.
And Mira and the rest of Lunatic High Flux finding it very difficult to organize the situation that they have. They're being sandwiched by OPGG Rangers and Lunatic High Flux to have to worry about 2 teams at the same time here.
Yeah, they're just trying to prone in the grass, but they can't quite do it. Hana also going to be knocked, and they have eyes on Mira, the only one that's left alive.
Okay, we see Thingception going down, but Mira is going to be the last one they have to track forward to, with Lunatic High Flux almost out of the game here.
Oh, he does get the headshot in the end, and Cloud9 finally finding some success. They still have another squad right in front of them, though. OPGG Rangers was the other squad, the other piece of bread in the sandwich.
Yeah.
Trying to lay down some smokes, but Catch is also going to go down, trying to res his teammate in Thingception.
That was a risk he took, and that was a risk he took trying to go for that res, but he was out in the open, and Eureka now is going to be the last one standing, and he's going to eventually go down, but he just barely survives on that one.
Yeah, he's the only one left alive here. I mean, Catch is knocked, but there's no hope to get him off the ground here. Eureka, let's see if he can actually do it, but you have OPGG Rangers on one side and a Freak of Freaks Fatal on the other.
And we're still only have 16 teams, with only 4 teams going out, means that Cloud9, despite all the good things they have had with all the cheers going towards their side, if they do lose Eureka in this instance, they're going to go down in 16th place. Not going to help their overall bottom standing that they're in right now.
I love that position right up against the fence, and you have 2 vehicles on either side to give you some cover. How did he find that guy, Michael?
Not good enough.
Fantastic. That's not the team I was talking about, but they were trying to set up the same exact kind of defense. And unfortunately, it does not work for Lunatic High.
Asterisk finding the picks there, very effective. Godman is going to be the last one standing for Lunatic High. Can he survive? We're still looking at Africa Freaks Fatal.
Grenade.
As we saw the invasion coming from Gillisuit earlier in the game, very successful.
Yeah, Gillisuit up towards the northern side, trying to break in right now. Africa Freaks Fatal, trying to be gatekeeper to many different teams.
They're in an awkward position. They're outside the circle, but they still have to defend against all these teams trying to just drive in. But they have to drive in themselves, but they're going to have Africa Freaks Fatal right in their tracks. It's going to be difficult to make that rotation in, where Africa Freaks Fatal are now just looking towards that direction and set their eyes on them.
Spot Actostar Red trying to make their way in towards the broken down plains. Eureka finally goes down, and Cloud9's hopes with them in 14th place.
Okay, now Gillisuit trying to make this hard rotation here. Can they get that done? Hungan just trying to go back onto Roa, but he's going to go down as well.
Roa able to get a knock here on the 2 members, actually, and stay alive. Gonna be able to res also Jasna, as Kongdu Gillisuit a little bit aggressive there, really wanted to get those houses.
That's the only path they had, though. If they made any type of rotation, they were going to be caught off by people on the corners and the flanks there. But the only way forward was against Africa Freaks Fatal, who were just right in front and looking towards their side. So they took the risk, obviously knew that it was going to be a low percentage play. Now it's down to Phenom to see if he can finish him off.
Jaden peeking just a little bit too much. Does get knocked there, but able to get some help from his team. Oh, nice knock there as Sado, the rest of Nightwolf just trying to get out. Also Rurijan also getting knocked out of the vehicle there, so a bit aggressive from Nightwolf as they try to enter the circle.
Serjang all by himself right now, right behind the airplane here.
Interesting spot for ROG Maximus. They're in a bunch of smoke, but they're out in the middle of nowhere here. Soma's gonna be knocked down and killed actually in the end.
Stars Red now trying to find themselves in a better position with 3 members.
Look at this. They got all the cars set up in some kind of weird get me out of here situation, but they have a lot of cover there with the plane and the cars.
Okay, OPT Rangers outside the circle. The circle is going to hurt quite a bit. Can they survive? But I would see the circle favoring Actostars Red when they invested heavily into the center of the circle. They got the reward for that. Rocket armor there as well. Gonna be impressive to see how much they can stand strong, especially against Actostars Red on the right here.
Nova able to spot Blaster X, slowly proning into the circle. Can't make his way in. Boppo, the only one left, really, that has a chance, but he is outside the circle, and it is gonna hurt.
He's so far out of the circle, and he can't just met forever. He's eventually gonna die out with Blaster X knocked out as well, so last hope for OPG Ranger. Can he stand strong here?
Look at Godman just in the middle there. Not quite close enough to the white circle, but all alone. Has some decent cover. This is the team I was talking about, Rocket Armor. They have a couple of vehicles as well as the big fence and the ridge on the other side that they can just prone up against it.
They are in a good position, but not much of enough flexibility to do anything with their position, because any offensive strats are out of the books here, as Asterisk just trying to make a rotation in for against Nightwolf.
Here comes Africa Freaks Fatal too, gonna make their way up against the fence. Nice smoke to preempt that movement up towards the fence. Bit of a fight here coming from behind. The Star-Lord takes out 2 of them up against the plane. Was not expecting them there. And unfortunately, that means 2 deaths for Astra.
And the grenade hoping to finish him up, but it's not going to get quite yet. Hulk is going to go in for the finish there. Trying to throw the grenade, trying to be as safe as they can, trying to not expose their bodies for too long here.
Can't quite end him, as there is one other member alive from Asterisk who's trying to shoot at Star-Lord and Hulk. That is Oa, who right now is just trying to heal up himself and prone his way into the circle.
See what they do here. It's going to be about Actostars Red and Rocket Armor here. Can they just maintain their position? It's going to be about Actostars Red. Can they just aggress themselves forward in this offensive strats that they have? Africa Freaks Fatal just trying to snake into the next position here.
Yeah, the battle of the snakes right now. Africa Freaks Fatal versus Rocket Armor. Trying to get some nades on into that position that they have.
You see the ridge they are currently sitting upon is that Quadra will not be able to see them from their distance. Actostars Red just trying to stay alive as well with Asterisk. Just 1 member alive. He's eventually going to go down to the blue.
See if he actually makes a move in here after using all his first aids.
Circle.
Circle's so good for Rocket Armor. Getting pretty lucky with that one. Also having some help from a Freak of Freaks Fatal. Looking to take out Under and Nova from Quadro here.
Quadro very frustrated in the way they were just knocked away by Freak of Freaks Fatal on the side. And like I said, they have the bad position where they have to go up against Rocket Armor here.
Oh boy, Hulk is popping off right now. Able to take out one.
Oh my God!
Gets School up against the fence there.
Oh my word.
Nearly taking out the whole squad just by himself.
Rocket Armor didn't have to move there, but I wonder what caused him to be in a bad position. You saw John Edward being the first one to be knocked away. Now the other two members, with Big Sam being the only one left alive, he has to stay alive as long as he can. Might just go down in 4th place.
Ooh, Hulk trying to loot here. He really needs some meds, actually. Is able to pick up one energy drink. That's all I saw. But now Iron Man right up against the fence here, really challenging Rocket Armor, saying, come at me, bro.
And the biggest benefactors of this situation is going to be a Freak of Freaks Fatal, who are just getting the free kills from their allies, and they can just move in a lot more freely. If Rocket Armor was in that situation with them, it would have been a lot tougher for Freak of Freaks Fatal to rush them in, but here they go. Trying to make that next rotation here.
They have so many smokes. It's really helping them out. But the spam through the smoke takes out Jaden from Hulk, actually, on the right side. Not just spam. Iron Man and Star-Lord also able to take out a couple of members of Freak of Freaks Fatal and Rocket Armor. So there's only 3 teams left now.
Already getting a revival of the Actostars Red. We know and love. They're going for the kills, and that Freak of Freaks Fatal has nothing to do on this one.
This team is unbelievable, finally showing up to play, charging the fence, taking out 2 squads just by themselves. And now they got a read on where Quadro is.
Oh, look at that shot coming through. He has no chance here. Under just trying to get through what they're trying to do. Actostars Red has full control over this one. Quadro's not going to be able to enter anywhere near that circle where the Jasmine's going to go down as well. So right now it's got a ball at Actostars Red. Can they finish the job? Can they get it done?
Quadro trying to make their way in. Right now the control is over to Actostars Red. Perfect position on the right side. Hulk takes out 2 and wins the match for Actostars Red. What a play. These guys showing up huge on Erangel.
Actostars Red in Korea are the best finishers of any team we have here in Korea. They may not get to the mid game, they may not get to the late game, but once they are, and they have decent amount of members, their creativity in separating the members and trying to separate the positions and to make sure each one has a role. You saw Hulk at the very end doing that extreme amount of flanking. So yeah, Quadro off guard, had no idea where they came from, and that is the clinical finish we saw from Actostars Red here and over again. We're seeing it again here.
And clearly, you guys can tell when you watch, but up against that fence and down the little ridge, that position is so strong. That's why you saw Lunatic High, Rocket Armor, a Freak of Freaks Fatal, Asterix. Everybody was going in there. And Actostars Red, they didn't really have the position, so they had to charge in, and they killed so many different squads to take control of it. And once they had control, Quadro, not in a really great position, just out in the open. Actostars Red with the great one was able to take them out. So that's going to be it, guys. We are going to have to go to a commercial break, but we will come back with FPP on Erangel to finish out the day. We'll see you guys in just a bit.